going live. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes.
'Cause so we there and fall us not. It's
Because
the
every
helper
train the
that
rebel
hath
was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
A big hello to you. It's really great to see you. And for all of you who joined us earlier this morning,
Thank you for still being awake.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the Australian crowd may have gone to bed and then got back up or something like that. I think it was late night last night, so it's early morning now for the Aussies.
Cheese,
and oh yeah, cheesy does it. I was have a small bit because otherwise I'd be chewing a huge lump of cheese.
For those of you who aren't sure, we have a cheese board. It is a board made of cheese.
How very civilised.
Probably not the most efficient way to make a board, but here we are.
So, we've got AD Pull and Josh's Railway Adventures, Iron Horse Railways, Values 56XX, Ridgeway Park 00, Richard Swiderski, Robert Beckham, Fat Wild Boy 2, South Line, Southern Line, Christopher Jameson, George, Gordon Hanning, Nigel Cole, Scale 3D, Liam at New Mills Model Railway, Dean Fielding, Patrick Lane, Gone Loco, Ruben Ashwell, who says, don't let the trains crash into the mug. That is the new Billy's Replacement Speakers mug. We've put it there because they have arrived. As you can see.
What's that?
I am
Billy's Replacement Speakers.
He's suddenly all Geordie.
Aye.
Why, yeah, man.
What's his old Geordie like?
Yeah. John JMC, Melchester Model Railway. This is the Billy's Replacement T-shirt. J94, great to see you. Southern Train Girl, Jerry BVR. Bear Lane, Stephen Price. The Growler Blackwood N-Gauge Layout. We've got loads of great people in. Haymarket 47. Cameron Peterson. David, It's My Model Railway. Redvers B, Alex Dent. I am pretty well, thank you. Hope you are too. Going to the Dogs. Says, evening all. I hear there was some Hornby announcements today.
Yes, Jenny, what's the news?
Yes. Now, I think that the internet might have had some opinions today.
You think?
But certainly, the big news of today, actually, I didn't think anything would eclipse the 2022 Hornby announcements. But obviously...
But Hornby managed something...
Something, obviously, if you have no idea what we are talking about, then welcome back from the hole in the ground you've been hiding in.
What's the weather like down there?
Well, maybe it doesn't have any kind of controversy with regard to the Titfield Thunderbolt. Now, I do apologise for all the weird noises you just heard.
Well, I thought
that was Zoe's armpit.
The cup. We should move the cup so people can see the choo-choos.
Yeah, Zoe's armpit has just scraped and caressed the microphone. Big hello to Warbler Productions. So sorry I wasn't there this morning. I had a really bad night and my iPad app wasn't playing ball for me. Don't worry. Cheshire Lines says, hi everyone, here for the second time today. CJ says, Rapido has my vote. Yes, anyway, the news. Rapido and Hornby have a somewhat, I think to call it a disagreement would be understating the matter. So essentially, for those not in the know, and for those in the know as well, Rapido Trains obtained a license for the 70th year.
Should we let Rapido Trains state this themselves and play a snippet from their statement?
If you can, I don't even know whether we can match the volumes, though. That's the other thing.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
But essentially, right? Yes, there's a absolutely right. Robert Becking. There's a Rapido video, and it's it pretty much sums it up. And I know for a fact that because I talked to Rapido last week. This is something that they were aware of for quite some time, not least because Hornby made a sort of very, very quick announcement last year on the subject of the Titfield Thunderbolt, preempting, basically because they found out when they'd gone to Studio Canal to license the Titfield Thunderbolt range, they were told that actually no, exclusive rights have already been signed over to somebody else. So essentially Rapido have the license. I've talked with Rapido. It is an exclusive license but Hornby are producing a range of what they're terming inspired by the Titfield Thunderbolt. And this is, of course, as you can imagine, the internet has had a few opinions on this. And I'm guessing that somewhere there may actually be some right opinions. But essentially, I think this is going to be one that may well progress to a higher level.
Jen, hasn't it already been to the courts? They attempted an injunction, didn't they?
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I thought there was going to be. Okay. Well, in that case, so that we're not talking around ourselves, shall we play this for the audience?
Okay, well, you make that full screen. So we're going to play a blast of the Rapido announcement. And I'd just like to say that Rapido did give us permission to do this. So we're just going to... Right, are you ready to hit play? Hit play.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Rapido Trains video. Now back in April last year, you may remember that we announced that we were going to produce an exclusive range of models based on the Titfield Thunderbolt. This was done fully in cooperation with Studio Canal, who were the rights holders to the original film. We spent many months talking with Studio Canal to come to a full legal agreement and contract that would allow us to produce these models. Now you may have seen that another manufacturer have steamrolled their way in and announced a new range of models inspired by the Titfield Thunderbolt.
Oh, good heavens.
Now, Mr. Valentine might take the view,
oh, a duel! How very delightful!
however, we don't find it very delightful. We were quite surprised by this action, as was Studio Canal. Studio Canal told us that we were the only firm that had been given authorisation to produce these models, and that no other firm would be given authorisation whilst our contract was in force. We can only assume this other manufacturer are acting a bit like Pearson and Crump. We do know, however, from the same film, that hard work, passion, determination and enthusiasm always pay off and will always come out on top. We're really, really excited by our project. The first models are already installing and hopefully we'll see those later on this stream. Rest assured, Rapido Trains UK and Studio Canal will be looking to protect their intellectual property and copyright.
Sam, we've got to fight this.
We know you'll be extremely pleased when you see our models, and there'll be cries of,
"Oh, Sam, what a little beauty, you lucky devil. What an experience."
We are so excited, and we hope you will be too. To find out more about our project, head over to the website, www.rapidotrains.co.uk. Don't forget to sign up to our newsletter and our social media pages to find out the very latest updates on this very exciting project.
So, basically, that's the statement from Rapido, and we got permission from Rapido, who asked if we could play that just to have their position made clear. Now, I haven't got any statement from Hornby. I've not actually asked Hornby.
We should ask Hornby for a statement.
We should, but at the moment they are quite busy. And in fairness to Hornby, I'd just like to say I haven't actually asked them. And I would like to think that both parties, I know certainly Rapido have, but I'd like to think that Hornby have at least run this past a lawyer. So they must have some grounds that they feel, they're able to do this. So this is why I think that this is going to be something that it's going to be decided elsewhere. And what you've got to remember is one thing is that it's Studio Canal who will enforce the IP, not Rapido. So I have seen it said on one of the internet groups that obviously Rapido doesn't have as deep a pockets as Hornby. Now the thing about this is that the IP holder is Studio Canal, who themselves are owned by a company. Their parent company made £1.2 billion last year.
Which I made £1.2 billion last year.
Yeah, Studio Canal made I think 300 million. So they're the people who will be litigating this. And the thing is, and I think a lot of people said, oh, why would something as old as Titfield Thunderbolt be defended in this way? Now, the reason for that is because if you don't defend your IP, then it leads to lots of problems. So, for example, and you're waving your fingers, you want to say something?
I want to weigh in when you're finished.
Yeah. Okay, so for example, in the 1990s, the Metropolitan Police tried to take the BBC to court for using the police telephone box in merchandise. And they failed, principally, not least because it was questionable as to whether they owned the copyright, but the more fundamental point was that they had failed to actually attempt to enforce what they believed was their copyright over a number of decades that the BBC had been selling merchandise.
They waited till the 90s? This thing started in 63.
Yeah, and what I'm saying here is that if you don't defend your IP, effectively your arm is twisted. If you believe your IP is being infringed and you don't defend it, then that can have other repercussions.
Yeah, this is why you get a lot of what people would say was shady cease and desists when someone starts doing something similar to what a company's got.
Yes.
And the reason for that is simply the company has to defend what they have.
Yeah, and also, as I understand it, again, I've spoken with Rapido, but I have not spoken with Hornby on this matter. Rapido have said to me that they have an exclusivity contract, and that effectively means that Studio Canal has sold them a license that is on the basis that only they have the license. So Rapido Trains would then have a case against Studio Canal if Studio Canal failed to enforce that exclusivity against a third party for basically saying you sold us something on the basis of X, but then you're not doing that.
Yes. Essentially it would be a breach of contract.
Exactly. So this is very complicated, and I've seen a lot of speculation online. I'm not going to speculate about any potential outcomes. What I will say...
that is important, guys. No speculation on potential outcomes. We're talking entirely in...
hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that Hornby has consulted a legal team, and the wording on the box artwork has been very carefully worded, and it's not by accident. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. So
here's the thing. You mentioned earlier it says it's inspired by. You can be inspired by things.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, I could right now, create a space opera inspired by Star Trek.
Isn't that called Barbarella?
It's called the Orville.
Oh, right, okay. Oh.
The Orville exists. It is a thing. It's inspired by Star Trek. You can see it's basically the Next Generation. Every single thing is sufficiently different.
Yes.
And they haven't used the same aliens, but they've used similar styles of things. They've got the space elves, they've got the space orcs and things like that.
Right, but
so
anyway...
you can be inspired. My biggest issue is when Hornby have put that particular fictitious brand on the side of that bus.
Yeah, the Pearson Crumb. Yeah,
that was a bit iffy for me.
Just bear in mind that Hornby... Now to take the other side here, Hornby did have a license. Corgi, which is part of Hornby, had a license to produce that model at some point. Now, what we don't know is whether that license is a little bit more open-ended than maybe Studio Canal realised. Now, there could be other areas here.
And that could be why that's on that bus.
Yes. So, we're not going to jump to conclusions. And what I'll say is that Corgi did have a license. It may still have a license. And this is where things get a little bit grey. Somebody said TARDIS located by the engine shed.
It is.
But...
Have your right shoulder.
But it can't be, because it's not there.
I don't think you can see it in that angle. Try the other one.
I can see it.
Okay.
So,
But yes. We've got a lot of stuff that with this. People are now talking about the Orville. Yeah. Oh, the Orville is Galaxy Quest, says Dave. It's my model.
Galaxy Quest is parody.
Galaxy Quest is also inspired by, but it's not inspired by Star Trek. It's inspired by some things that happened at a Star Trek convention.
Yes.
That scene where the main star overhears the fans talking in the public toilets.
Yeah.
That's what it's based on.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's a parody aspect. You do get a little bit more legal protection with regards to parody for comedic purposes.
To an extent, you still have to abide by the rules.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't use Star Trek uniforms or anything.
Exactly. If you watch Saturday Night Live, there are so many famous Star Trek parodies with John Belushi in them, playing Captain Kirk. His uniform is not correct. The set he's on is not correct.
And that is done deliberately.
Yes, because you can't go too far.
Yes.
You cannot look like the thing that you're parodying.
But, right, and somebody there says, Edgar Ryder says, okay, so TARDIS is also near the signal box, so you have two of them. Valley's 56XS says TARDIS to the left of the signal box. Ben Tullett says, hang on, Jenny has two TARDISes. Crossways Point Junction Mother Row says the TARDIS is up by the signal box.
So can I also point out, the TARDIS is an excellent thing. Because we call this a TARDIS. I'm going to pick this one up.
Right, yeah. Can
I just say,
before you get too carried away, can you grab me the packaging for it? On top of that Midnight Metropolitan box, just have a fondle. You'll above it, you'll find like a blister pack. Can you find it? Have you got it? Is it there or not? Don't pull things out.
I can't pull it out, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can I just say, we call this a TARDIS. This is not sold as a TARDIS. This is sold as a police box.
Yes, and this is actually the point that things like inspired by, and with copyright and image law. So in the case of these, that's a Bachmann one, and that's a Hornby one. These are sold as police telephone boxes, street furniture from the 1950s. They can do that. Both Hornby Scaledale and Bachmann Scenecraft can do that absolutely fine. But the moment they put Doctor Who or TARDIS or time and relative dimension in space on the packaging,
that is some kind of vehicle,
that's where the problem comes. And it's what it comes down to. Just to take copyright and intellectual property surrounding artistic works. It's to do with as much the way they are presented, and if that presentation is unique to the artistic medium, I think, is that the best way of putting it? So, for example, I mean, a really good one would be Marcel Duchamp's Fountain. Now, I know that a lot of people are, what? Marcel Duchamp was a sculptor and artist, and in a way, because with the rise of the modern art movement, you can tell I did aesthetics in philosophy at university. Basically, there was this rise of taking what were referred to as ready-mades, basically ordinary items, and putting them in an extraordinary situation and calling it art. So a good example these days, I think everybody's heard of Tracy Emin's bed. Well, it's just ready-mades, but posed to be a dirty bed with dishevelled sheets. But Marcel Duchamp took an ordinary urinal and placed it in the middle of an art gallery, and I think it's signed Marcel Duchamp. But it's like a bog standard urinal. Yeah,
literally.
And
that was the point of what he was saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was doing it almost slightly tongue in cheek and ironically, but that urinal is not copyright unless you're producing it as if it's an artwork.
Unless you're trying to be Fountain.
So
Jenny B says to Sean took the pee.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is that there are it's like specific circumstances, specific performance, and all that. Although in legal terms, specific performance has a more set definition. The point is that you can be inspired by, but you can't create the same thing. You can't rip off.
Yeah.
And Hornby are on a bit of a legal tightrope here because they can be inspired.
Yeah, but to an extent, and it's where is the line between being inspired by, so for example, Galaxy Quest or Orville, inspired by Star Trek, to the point where you're basically remaking Star Trek without a license. There is a line there somewhere, And somebody said to me, it's like, oh, well, people must have taken legal advice, so what's the problem? And the problem is that...
I'm sorry, but I need to say something here.
Yeah.
Here is... If I go to a lawyer and say, can I kill this guy? And he says no, I've taken legal advice. It doesn't mean I can then go out and kill that guy.
Can I just say as well, there is such a thing as a rubbish lawyer as well.
Yes.
But there's always going to be a difference in interpretation, and that's why courts have so much business passing through. Now, Mark Wilson...
Sorry, did I say the lawyer said yes? I meant no. And the lawyer says no, you can't.
That is really annoying, that train. Now, I'm going to... Sorry, just keep talking to the nice people.
Well, that's the point. What we're saying is we don't know what advice Hornby have been given, what advice Rapido have been given, what advice Studio Canal have been given. This is all speculation, and the way that we're talking is based on the information that we have available to the public. Rapido have made a statement, Hornby haven't.
And what I want to say is, I don't want to speculate, but we're just putting out there what we've heard so far.
Yeah.
But essentially, that's where we are. Right. Anyway, I want to move on. I want to
we can't have this dominate the entire. I mean, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, I can't move on if you keep talking over me.
I'm sorry, Jen. Were you saying something?
Yeah. Peter Dignam says, "Hi, all lawyers just provide legal advice." And
did you just crash your choo-choos?
Yeah. Hold on.
Sorry. What are you saying? All lawyers just provide
legal advice. Judges provide rulings.
Yeah. Lawyers provide advice. Judges can only judge the law. Yeah. That's the thing. We can't say either way. They've given advice. You're free to take or leave that advice. The lawyer that you hire would recommend you take their advice. Otherwise, why are you hiring them?
Yeah.
But you don't have to. And we don't know what they were advised. Whether multiple lawyers have said this, that, and the other. We don't know.
I want to move on now.
Okay.
So,
it would be very nice. I want to say one final thing. It would be very nice if Hornby did put out a statement. But I completely understand if they've been told by their lawyers that maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, sometimes less is more. Right. Anyway, meanwhile, back on the ranch, Hornby announcements. We've got the Turbo Motive, and I think that's probably one of the big things, which, in a way, it's a shame that all of these other legal questions have kind of overshadowed some of the Hornby announcements.
You got amazed by one of them, didn't you? I was certain that was going to be a clip by the end of the day where she went, oh!
Yeah, there is a Jenny did a squee moment this morning, and that was the 6-wheel coach in the blue and grey livery. Now there's been a photograph doing the rounds since Hatton's announced their Project Genesis lineup. And it's a photograph of a 6-wheel coach in blue-grey livery, which was part of an exhibition train along with the London and North Western Railway cinema coach. Now, the cinema coach did survive. That's preserved at Quainton Road. But unfortunately, the 6-wheel generator van didn't actually survive. It got scrapped shortly afterwards. But it just went to show that these coaches were so long-lived that they lasted to the point where they got blue-grey livery. Now, yeah, Wamgok as well says Somerset and Dorset Railway livery. This, I think, is something that Callum Wilcox, a.k.a. SDJR7F88, would have had his own little personal squee moment over, because that is definitely his thing. But certainly, those new liveries we did predict, and obviously at the time I didn't know anything about what was coming out, so I was able to speculate, safe in the knowledge that I couldn't accidentally give anything away. But yes, the blue-grey coach, I've been asking Hattons if they would add it to the lineup, and they went, well, we'll think about it. I'm sorry, you snooze, you lose. And Hornby have announced it, really impressed by that. The Isle of Wight Central set as well. Yeah, Ian White says she got excited about the Isle of Wight set as well.
Did you get a mail van? I remember a lot mentioned this morning about a mail van for Era 1.
Oh, what didn't get announced?
Oh, that's a shame.
But the Isle of Wight Central one, it's the Terrier in the Isle of Wight Central livery, plus 3 of the 4-wheel coaches in the appropriate Isle of Wight Central livery. That for me was interesting, actually. And I spoke to Simon Kohler this morning about it, because I did ask him, because I forwarded him a photograph, I think it was at some point last year, maybe just after the 2021 announcements and said, here's a thought for you to consider. And it wasn't my photo, it was a photo that I found online. In fact, I think it was 2 different photos. And never played poker with Simon Kohler because he has an incredible poker face. And he went, oh that's interesting, I'll add it to the pile. Now I see that set release. I did ask him about this, and he said, actually, at the time you forwarded me those photographs, I had come across them and decided we'd do a model of them several days previously.
Is this the same thing as with the... oh, Simon, do you think for the anniversary you might be able to make a rocket? And he said, I'm sorry, we've lost the molds.
They were well on the way at that point, but with this, he'd basically already considered it. It was in the pile, and what he said was that he decided that, I can't take all the credit, but he said that it was, the coincidence was such that he thought, yeah, I think we're onto something here with this, if people are suggesting the livery that we're looking at. And it's certainly, I'm not aware of any ready-to-run model, any of the models in any of the gauges ever having been released in Isle of Wight Central. Harry Chapman says, still no USA S160. Gutted. What's your opinion on this, Jenny? I haven't heard as many people clamouring for it this year as I did last year. And it just shows the fickle nature sometimes of what people are asking. But yeah, I must admit, I thought there might be an S160. And I did actually talk to one other manufacturer who seemed to be thinking their guess was an S160, but I haven't heard as much about it this time round. So never say never. J94, yes, like the look of the Sentinel Shunters. Everybody, well, I say everybody as a proxy for me. I love Manchester Ship Canal Railway, and the 6-wheel shunter, or the Sentinel, is perfect for that. They're doing one in MSC livery, which is Manchester Ship Canal. So yes, that is on my hit list. And it's actually one which kind of hope, when they announced the original 4-wheel version, I really hoped that that was what they would do. Now, in terms of other standout items, and the turbo motor was a big deal, we also saw the live steam system has appeared. Now, I'm
interested in that.
I have actually, what I have actually done is
that one stuck on the bottom?
Apparently it is. What is it? I think there's just slightly... Let me just stop that, because it's been annoying me since I put it on.
This live steam system, I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, the live steam thing, we kind of saw that already on the Hornby Model World. And I think that, my suspicion is that this was something that Hornby were looking into. I think that if by showing it, maybe it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but the reaction was so overwhelming. I think they took a view that, look, we've got to make this work. So we've seen that appear, and I think it's 3 different locomotives. The price isn't too bad. Now, I have clarified with Hornby's head of brand on this, because it wasn't clear whether it was DCC or DC, and what they've said is, and let me find the email so I can
okay, while you're doing that, I'll quickly look through the things.
What do you
A lot of people are saying that the prices are rather high this year, and I'm sorry to say that's probably the way the entire market's going.
Unfortunately, yes, but right, here we are. The smoke generator is DCC only and requires a special Hornby 21-pin decoder. I think that's because the control for it needs to be an amount of power. So it needs to be a bit like the decoder that goes in the Bachmann Class 90 to make the pantograph go up and down, would be my guess. But it goes on to say, this will be supplied with the models. The smoke generator...
So you don't have to buy anything extra.
Yes. Essentially, the decoder's there, but it won't run on DC only. This will be supplied with the models. The smoke generator has its own adjustable CV values To enable full control of the steam effect, for example, steam density can be adjusted. And as a few people have been pointing out, 21-pin DCC decoder sockets have finally started to appear.
Now, I noticed that this morning. The second thing on the Hornby catalogue was an 8 to 21-pin converter.
Yes.
And immediately I thought, that's a bit funny to be pushing at the top, unless they're doing something interesting. And it seems like they're going 21-pin.
And what this means is that I think a lot of it is about future-proofing. So there may not be the functions on the models just yet, but by upgrading to the 21-pin socket, this is the initial phase of the changeover. Now, interesting, Rich J says it's very odd that a Black 5 with steam is £29 more than a Class 60 with no sound or smoke, especially as the 60 is quite an old model now. And I've seen a few people suggest that actually there is a little bit of inconsistency on the pricing. But from having looked through, yes, there are some headline prices which do seem quite expensive.
Yes.
But we are seeing the price increases from pretty much all manufacturers. And the reason for this is for factors that are outside of Hornby's control. And this is mostly to do with difficulties in supply. You may have noticed that there was no announcement on TTS, and I saw no mention of some of the previously announced TTS decoders like the Class 55, and this is because of processor shortages. Lewis J. Cartwright says, I have to go now, Jenny. Take care, Jenny and Zoe.
Thank you for coming along.
Thank you so much. It's been great to have you in. And hopefully you can also catch up later on when it becomes a regular video after the stream. Essentially, there was a lack of announcements for DCC TTS decoders because I guess the lack of processors for that.
Yeah, apparently I have been talking to a few people about this because it's also affecting retro gaming, modern computers, graphics cards, and all sorts.
And also
the chip shortage
in the car industry.
Yes, the chip shortage should finish sometime in 2022 because the factories are starting to ramp up again. Because the pandemic may still be going on, but a lot of people are now, they've had the virus, they're able to get back to work without worries, and they've also been vaccinated. So hopefully, by the middle of 2022, we won't have a chip shortage anymore.
Yeah, so we have seen a lot of stuff from the
Speaking of virus, that's why I sound like a frog.
It's not COVID, we have been tested. I think one of the other standout announcements, and Breezer 707, right on the money there, said, I'm happy the Class 423 is coming back, but it's a shame there's no new locos for Southern or GWR. In fact, actually, there weren't that many all-new models announced. There was the Black 5 and the Turbo Motive, and the Sentinel 6-wheel shunter. Otis JB says, I don't think all manufacturers are raising their prices, at least not to anywhere near this degree. Daypole's was just 4%. Now, a lot of the price rise, now I do feel a need here just to clarify. A lot of the price rises are being put down to cost of shipping from China. Now, Daypole do actually finish and certainly finish and also injection mould a lot of their models in the UK. Certainly we've seen a post from them about the conflat wagons in O gauge, where they do make a big thing about the fact that the containers are moulded, finished and printed entirely in the UK, which means that they're not subject to the increase in transport costs from China.
Yeah.
Similarly, Pico make a huge amount of their range in the UK, so consequently a 400% increase in container costs from China doesn't really affect them. And David, it's my mother. Oh yes, the Class 8 TTS decoder has jumped from £46 to £50 last week, even though still out of stock. We've seen an awful lot of models that were previously announced to go up. I think one of the big things that was already attracting attention was the APT, not yet available, but the prices went up again. So it's not clear just how people who have pre-ordered it, how that affects them. But certainly, I think this was more of a consolidation announcement for me.
The people who've pre-ordered, have they put down any cash?
And no, that's the thing. I don't think they have from Hornby. Hornby doesn't require a deposit to be paid.
Then you're essentially an expression of interest.
Yeah, but
I'd say more your expression of first rights of refusal.
Yes. Cheshire Line says, I'm up for the Black 5. Coronation coaches, that was another big thing. I have seen a lot of talk, speculation, want for those, so they have now finally been announced. That's really, really good. Warbler Production says, TARDIS next to Signal Box. Yeah, it is actually. So I'm going to change the angle of the dangle. And
is that the brew that is true?
Yes. But right. Somebody asked, I can't see where oh, there we are. Ham Shackleton asks, silly thought, but Dapol get the plastic moulding pellets from China? Not necessarily. Now, do bear in mind that some of the raw materials are also made elsewhere. Not everything
Other countries are available.
Other countries are available. And I know from experience, having worked for a company that did plastic injection moulding in the UK, that their source of plastic injection moulding pellets actually came from a company in Polton-le-Field. I mean, this was about 15 years ago.
That sounds like a location you've just made up.
No, it's north of Blackpool.
Like Chipping Bunbury or Buxom Rack.
Yes. Right, other news. Let's not forget other news. Dapol have done quite a few announcements. So we've seen the Class 21 and the Class 29. More production runs of those arrived, including the tablet catch-up mechanism. We've seen news on the Conflax. We've also seen the Van Wide and the air braked versions of the Van Wide announced in O gauge. Well, certainly they're imminent from Dapol.
Oh.
What?
David, It's My Model Railway says, Hornby honoured my pre-order price of $179.99 for the W1 Hush Hush.
So
nice.
There you have it. Hornby have been honouring pre-order prices that have been made directly. Big Hello 1701 the filed flyer says, well, hey, Polton. Yeah, it is a real place.
I was making a joke, Jen, so that I could talk about Buxom Rack.
Oh, yeah, anything to get a Buxom Rack in the proceedings. David Finley says there's been no price increases from Dapol for the rerun of the 2129s announced today, and they've had to produce a new tooling for the tablet catcher fitted versions. Wiven Model Railway says most of the items that I have on pre-order are with Hornby. They are maintaining prices at the time of ordering. Now, that is interesting. Right. Krista Duke, hello to you.
Congratulations
Laura
to Gordon Hanning.
Oh, what?
He says, just opened a present for my wife, a Billy's Replacement Speakers t-shirt. Love it.
Excellent. And of course, anybody who's interested in the Billy's Replacement Speakers merchandise, we have got mugs, stickers, hoodies, t-shirts. They're all available, and you'll see pinned to the top of the chat the Billy's Replacement speakers there. You can go and browse the full range. So really, really pleased that we finally got that out.
Yeah, you've been pushing me for ages.
Yeah.
Have you lost your place?
Yeah, Gordon Aitken says, I approve of Buxom Rags. Right, Laura says, don't forget the Class 755 Flirt EMU and the GWR Built Laureate. Absolutely, and let's not forget that some of these items that were announced for the ostensibly as part of Titfield Thunderbolt range do have a life outside the film. So it's nice to see the Laureate Y announced in liveries that cover Great Western Railway, and also based on the artwork, Hornby quotes it as being Era 4, but it does have a TOPS letter code on the wagon, which puts it very firmly at Era 7. Yes, and it puts it very firmly at Era 7. So we also had there was another Modern Image one. You can tell how much I'm into Modern Image. There was another one. What was it? The Class 801 or something like that. Hello to Logan Clary. Matt Ovell says, if you pay manufacturer's suggested retail price by pre-ordering from Hornby, then I would hope the prices don't go up. But if you pre-order from a discounted retailer, they may not be able to do the same. And it is an interesting point that you could end up paying less direct from Hornby. Fully Suited says, I wish Bachmann stopped using plastic gears in the USA locomotive. I had to send 2 of them back to Train World due to it being broken inside their run back. And that used to be quite a thing, certainly in the 1990s in the UK. Bachmann suffered terribly for it with the split chassis locomotives. The plastic gears would split. And I've seen this on the Class 04 shunter. I've seen this mentioned as well for some of the others. Like, for example, the... I want to say Dean Goods. It's not Dean Goods. The 060 GWR thing that they did. Call it Goods. Also, the they had a few problems with that. I've seen some of the early Genties as well with split gears. I've seen some of the early X-Mainline J72s suffer as well.
Okay, so we've got a message here which just jumped off my screen.
It was the class.
To talk.
Class 802 and the Class 803. Simon Train's Mother Railway Showcase says.
Okay, Spongate Junction says, good evening, Jenny and Zoe. Please give Mark and Michael at Classic Train and Motor Bus a shout out. Hello to Mark and Michael at Classic Train and Motor Bus.
Hello.
As if they'd like you to say it. Because you're special.
What was the names again?
Mark and Michael at Classic Train and Motor Bus.
So big hello to Mark and Michael at Classic Train and Bus. So really,
and Motor Bus.
Classic Train and Motor Bus. I'm sorry, I'm ill. My short-term memory is going.
Also, her short-term memory's gone.
Yeah, well, did I tell you my short-term memory's gone? Oh, look, trains!
Hey, who put them there?
Yeah. Dongus Muller Railway says, I'm interested to see what they've done to the 4VEP. It looks like it's had the solid corridor fixed. Somebody did mention that on the stream this morning. I wonder if they fixed the misshapen face it had previously. Gordon Aiken says, Jenny, today I received an eBay purchase, an A3 class, Tranquil, in BR Purple. I now understand why you love the livery so much. Absolutely.
Yes, it's nice, isn't it?
It is, actually. Mark Wilson says, over 400 watching. Oh, wow. Warbler Productions asks, which Terrier is behind the M7? That is a Hornby Brighton Works, which was one of the Collector Club exclusives, I have to say. And Russell Benton confirmed, Simon Cowler said they had changed the front of the Class 423. So, brilliant. Right, big hello to Cottesmore. Great to see you. It says, nice cups, HMV will be taking royalties. No, because it's inspired by, we're good.
Fair use due to parody, which is why every single part of that is different. Different dog, different position, different gramophone, different speaker.
We consulted the same lawyers that Hornby used, and they said that inspired by was okay.
No, it's literally fair use due to parody due to all the changes I made.
Yeah. Right. Peter Jackson brings up the Coke bottle on the flat wagon. Absolutely.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. It was really good fun, actually. And this is something I know that some of the gatekeeping rivet counting sourpusses that I have to deal with sometimes can't seem to get their small minds around the fact that actually the hobby's supposed to be fun. And one of the ways that we get kids involved is by having fun stuff like a Coca-Cola bottle on a flat wagon. So I think it's a great idea.
You know what I love? If it was DCC controlled and you could press a function button to make the Coke disappear from the bottle as if someone was drinking it.
And don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream as well, and also do please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. Now, we've also got some more hot information, again, from Hornby's head of brand. I did also ask a question off the back of something that arose, and this was to do with the A4 Pacifics, the Sir Nigel Gresley sets. and it wasn't clear whether the coaches were the new or the old Gresley tooling. So I've had back to the Gresley coaches in the Mallard set are the early railroad models. So it's just a clarification there. Otis JB says, I thought it was weird. Sam's train seemed to hate the Coke wagon, but his rant was funny. He may have done it tongue-in-cheek. But certainly, as I said before, it's like what I keep trying to drum into people, these gatekeeping, sourpuss idiots who don't seem to understand that if you don't actually allow people to have fun, they'll go elsewhere. And it's one of the reasons that a lot of model rail clubs struggle to get people in if they have that kind of attitude from people in the club. And, Hornby have to be applauded for some of the things that they've done. I know we've got the big headlines, the Titfield Thunderbolt, the price increases. We've got locomotives going above the £300 mark. But there's more in this range, which actually gives me hope. The Coke range, the Coca-Cola range, is another one. This is fun. This is what brings people into the hobby. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, if counting rivets is really boring you to tears, then actually you're doing this hobby wrong. And the Coke range is really, really good for something just that bit fun for little Jimmy to get into, or even little Jenny getting into model trains.
I also like the play train stuff. That stuff is bright, it's eye-catching.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love the play trains range for that reason.
And kids these days, look, I sound so terrible and old saying kids these days, but kids these days love iPads and the internet and everything, so having the play train stuff linked in with a website, that works so well for the kids. Yeah,
it's like a kind of a fun world building.
Yeah, it builds it in.
And the other thing as well I really liked is that we've also got...
What the hell? I don't know. What is this?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like, oh, I see you deep in thoughtful conversation.
I better distract you by coming up.
I better make a mess of that. So big hello to New Junction. I hear people saying that you're in. I did spot somebody chant your name 3 times, so big hello to you. But yeah, Stephen Cameron, absolutely right. Hands up anyone who puts sweeties in their open wagons. Brackets, me too. Yeah.
Jenny told me off for that.
Yes, I did. But also, there's some really great stuff in there themed for next Christmas. I know I'd love to see things like the Christmas tree carrying wagon, the Santa's presents wagon, this Santa Express thing. I think it's a great idea for a little something fun to put around the Christmas tree. And one of the things that actually I'm thinking of doing is I might see whether I do in conjunction with Hornby maybe a Christmassy build designed to put a Christmas tree on. Now I might use the base for that upside down layout, which obviously the Fun Police and the Trolls have really launched in on that. But
I was so guys, I was so angry with that. Some of you said calm it down. I think it had to be said. What I said had to be said on the group.
I shouldn't show you where that the original post was.
Oh,
where on Hornby's page, the Trolls moved in on 4th. They were like, oh.
I'm sorry, but you guys, you come after my wife. I'm coming after you. It's as simple as that.
Do you really want that? Going, I'm gonna get you. But no, I mean it's like come on, guys, bit of fun. Oh god, some people really have a massive fun bypass.
They're saying, oh, it's pretentious that she says she's inspiring people. It's like, no, the point was, like, look at what you can do with this stuff. You don't have to just run it in a circle.
Yeah, it's like...
That was the point. That's the inspiration. You can make fun things.
Yeah, can I just say that every time they repeat that episode that I'm in, I can watch the huge increase in subscribers, watch time, and interest and interaction.
Because it actually does...
Yeah.
Spark the imagination.
And this is the thing that, we made the point earlier on about people getting snooty about things like Coca-Cola wagons, is that, it's like, actually, the vast majority of people out there don't think like these little trolls who are like, oh no, you can't have fun. Well, I've missed a comment from Cottismore. I don't know what you said. Can you say it again? But as a lot of people have spotted the TARDIS, actually. It was a clever location, but it's finished fostered.
It was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Predictable joke, I know. It's all right. It's all right. See,
Pottersmore said, "I spent 30 on coke too. Was buzzing for hours." I believe this requires.
That's an interesting point, Egg Rider. For Santa's Express, Hornby are missing a trick: a snow-covered, pre-formed tunnel with a small church in top designed to fit okay over a radius 1 curve would go down well.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, you could market that for each of the 4 seasons and actually sell it with a... Actually, that's a... What the heck is that doing?
You know what would be even better? A snap-on cover.
No, not what about if you had something like a preformed thing, scenery shell, that takes a specific radius of track, and then you sell, like they did with the Family Fun hamper, a pack with Hornby products from scenery to buildings and stuff, tailored to the season. So in the run-up to Christmas, they'd sell the Christmas pack for this thing, and you can make your Christmas-themed snowy layout with icicles and frozen river and people skating on the pond. You could have a summer-themed layout, an autumn-themed layout, you know, there's a lot you can do. I might suggest that actually to Hornby, because I think that would be a really great idea for a kind of little layout.
Leslie Gilpin says, "Jenny, perhaps your proposed Christmas tree layout could be inspired by other Christmas tree layouts."
I'm afraid that
this is going to be a joke that lasts.
Yeah, in all honesty with you, is one of the things that I think that, in my honest opinion, is that I think that Hornby scored a little bit of an own goal with this.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do this. I think that last year when they found out they couldn't get the license, realistically, I think it would have been a case of going, we got beaten to it, we'll just work harder next time for whatever else. But actually, Einhorst Rower says, "What's squeaky? It sounds like a momentary short circuit." I think it is. It's one of the wheels passing over an Insulfrog point. A momentary little short is what that is. Wamgok says, "You can't do that, Jenny. I already thought of that." It's like, yeah, but I put inspired by at the front. It'll be all right. Chaotic Goose says, "Have you seen that Hornby's made a Hysia steam loco for the US market?" I had not seen that, actually. That would be interesting.
I have to say, I'm going to make something that's inspired by her inspiration.
You inspire me.
See, this is the problem that they've got now. This is going to be
become a meme. Oh, well, actually, I've already seen the meme. Have you seen where it's internet, Rapido and Hornby all in a fight in a McDonald's or something? There's just some guy sat at the table, completely ignoring it, scrolling on his phone, and he says, "A Cura scale." And it's like, it's really quite funny. Warbler Productions says, "That's given me an idea for a Christmas train micro LEDs to recreate one of the train of lights that Heritage Lines are running now." Absolutely.
What's wrong?
No, sorry, I lost my place. It went and moved.
You do that.
Bo Minnick asks, "Is the Black 5 new tooling?" I thought it was.
Is that big one?
The Caprotti Black 5. It's the Caprotti Black 5. I won't say it's big. It is fairly big.
It looked pretty big when we saw several versions of it at one show.
Peter Jackson asks, "Do we know if there'll be anything for the Railway Children film due out this year?" Yes, there is a tie-in with a 4F locomotive, and that is actually licensed from Studio Canal. So there is something coming out. Otis JB says, the £140 Airfix 4F. Egg Rider says, "Simon talked about the new Railway Children movie. Did I miss something, or did they not actually announce a release relating to the movie?" Yes, they did.
It kind of got over this, and this is the other issue. A lot of things got overshadowed.
Yeah, and for me as well, we talked about the Coke bottle on the wagon. I think that's a genius move. That and the Christmassy themed stuff.
Yep.
I think that is, Hornby have actually got their finger on the pulse with this one, because they are actually the only manufacturer really pricing models to bring in a younger generation. And the other consideration as well, which is what some of these railroad models are really, really good at, is they need to be robust. Now, my little nephew's quite young. He's very enthusiastic, but no criticism of him. But if you hand him a modern, highly detailed model, it will mysteriously fall apart in his hands. And so one of the things that the railroad models do is they're robust, and that is important.
Yes. Can I just say, it's no fault of the kid or any kid, because motor neurons don't develop in children until quite late. So coordination is hard.
Oh yes.
And that's why you have to have something that is built for children. The railroad stuff it's not necessarily aimed at children, but it's built to handle them.
Exactly. And in the Hornby range, we had the Railroad Plus announcements. I've been meaning to get...
I like this.
Yeah, and if you looked at the price points, I know people are going like, oh, like 300 quid for a loco. But £96.99, I think it was the price point for all these Railroad Plus Class 37s, 47s, and 31s. Now, they're the older ex-Lima mouldings, but they're coming in at under £100. They'll be robust. They'll do exactly what they say on the tin. And if some of these rivet-counting people who continually moan on the internet are to believe, the Hornby Railroad 31 is the best of all the Class 31s out there. So winner, chicken dinner, I believe. But at that price point, they're keeping it under the £100 mark. It's keeping it affordable for younger modelers, for modelers on a budget. And actually, I wouldn't mind taking a good look at one of the Railroad 31s, for example.
I'd like to see that as well.
I'd like to actually be able to compare it to the Hornby full detail. Excuse me, a lot of gas in the beverage of choice, which is Diet Coke. But certainly, it's I'd be interested to compare it with the Hornby Class 31s. Now, there are some full-fat Hornby 31s announced. We've also got a whole load of the Class 08 Shunters. Now, this is a welcome addition. We have complained that there has been a huge lack of Class 08s and 31s coming through.
I have to say one thing. I am very, very upset that no manufacturer has ever attempted to staple 3 Gronks together to make a Mega Gronk.
Yeah. Now, I'm afraid...
I need to see a Mega Gronk.
I think you'll find that the Mega Gronk is currently out terrorising Greater Tokyo.
No one can handle the power of the Mega Gronk.
Does it go past and go Gronk, Gronk, Gronk?
Yes.
Gronk, Gronk, Gronk.
Yes, it does.
Laura says, Jennifer, Hornby's Railroad Plus Class 31s and 47s, the Lima model, can be turned into a great model if you fit new handrails. And that's an interesting point. I mean, that would make a really good video upgrading one of those. I have done my own handrails. I actually repaired a Bachmann 25 that was completely missing its handrails using thin wire, and it does actually work quite well. Matt Ovell says, Railroad Plus is a great concept, but they need to clarify how it fits between railroad and railways, otherwise they run the risk of just muddying the waters further. Now,
there is a bit of that, yeah.
I think that in some instances, and certainly the 47s, 37s and 31s that I saw, it did look to me like what we effectively had was older, simpler tooling, but with a higher level of detailing, whereas the railroad is simple model with simple detail. So that's pretty much how I read it. But certainly, we've got some really great announcements in there. It's just a shame in a way this all got overshadowed by the Titfield Thunderbolt thing. But certainly, the other thing as well that really stood out for me as well is that Hornby are expanding their Era 1 range. We've got some sheep wagons, coal wagons, and I was really pleased to see that they were different from the children's that Acura Scale have announced, which means that they will complement each other, and I really, really like that.
Peter Jackson says, has Tamworth Castle broken down?
It ground to a halt. The train behind it is too long. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, actually...
Take a couple of carriages off it?
No, I'm going to try and find... Let's have a look. So just bear with me. You'll see a little blast of Billy's replacement speakers.
Ben Tillett says the Class 13 is the Mega Gronk.
Yeah, well, 3 Gronks together. That would be Gronk, Gronk, Gronk. That would be... Oh... For some reason, I just pressed a button and this thing started doing its thing. If I just caught... Yeah, I've just caught plus 10. Right. So let's put a different rat on. I was actually having an all Gronk... sorry, not all Gronk. an all rat all the time running session. I think somebody did ask for it.
Cameron S says the Gronks are nice, but not for £190, which, to be honest with you, is a fair point.
There is that, and bear in mind that there will be some level of discounting, but even so, it remains to be seen whether the price points are sustainable.
Yeah.
I know that there has been debate every year about this, and what's actually apparent is that every year the items do generally sell. So,
Jenny replacing a locomotive. It was inspired, says Simon Trent. S. McC says, how inspiring. See, this is
going to be the meme.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what's coming from this. Hornby have essentially made themselves a joke, which is not exactly where you want to be when you're like the grandfather of the model community.
Ben Tillett says, Jenny, send a steam loco to save the broken down loco. Never! And Simon Snap, and this is what I was saying about the fun of it. Fun! Come on, people, fun.
Yeah.
Says, I have pre-ordered the Lomac with Coca-Cola bottle. My 12-year-old son thinks it's great.
I have to admit,
and that's absolutely right.
I almost immediately thought, hey, I better pre-order that Cork wagon because that'll look fun. And I don't even like trains, but I wanted to get it for Jen as a present.
Interesting. Chaotic Goose suggests, would a Mega Gronk be an 018? Oh.
I don't know. I'll be back.
Egg Rider says the Liverpool and Manchester Railway era one sheep and horse wagons helped complete the rake as shown in the 1980 stamp set from the Royal Mail.
That is
absolutely.
Nice.
The only thing is the rocket can't really pull very much, I'll be honest with you. The lion was probably an essential part of the range, but...
Where the hell is the planet?
And the patentee.
Where's Planet?
And Northumbria.
I want to see Planet.
Yeah. Laura says, when they were first introduced, my nickname for the Class 220s and 221s was Travelling Rats, as in Vermin Voyagers. Iron Horse Railway says, I think the whole situation should be called Titgate. David, It's My Mother Railway says, Billy's replacement inspiration. And David Cook says, Jenny, that's because we put up with it. We have to stop. Now, you've got to remember, at the end of the day, things do cost a lot of money to come from China. And it's one of the big problems, and we've talked about this before, is that the cost of manufacturing in China over the last 20 to 25 years has really skyrocketed. Now, this is down to general inflation, but also China has become more and more industrialized and wages have gone up a lot. There's a lot more companies trying to make a lot more stuff there, and that places greater demand on resources, on workforce. And you've also got things like techie phones, iPhones, things like that, that need a very skilled workforce, the kind of same skilled workforce that you need for assembling model trains. But the work is actually easier for the workforce, and people like Apple can afford to pay a really good rate. So the model rail manufacturers have to keep up with the wage increases, otherwise they don't get the staff. And this, coupled with huge increases in container traffic, getting containers of goods from China to not just the UK, but anywhere in Europe, in the US, in Canada, in Australia, those costs have gone through the roof, and all of this has to be passed on. At the end of the day, Hornby and all of the other retailers are not a charity. They cannot afford to make models for a loss. We've all seen how Hornby have struggled financially over a number of years. They're not gouging if they're not making money. It is quite simply a case of this is the price point that they kind of need to be able to make the money. Now, it is a calculation as to whether this is going to pay off. You know, there may well be, almost certainly is a price point where people will stop buying. But as the W1 showed, that price point has not yet been reached. They're still able to sell these out. The Rocket as well sold out. And a big, big thank you to Robert Steers. Thank you so much for your amazing generosity, donating $9.99 on the Super Chat. Says, hello, Monday Club friends, for the Locomotive Fund. Thank you very much. And also Wardle Road. Big hello to you. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to join in on your stream this morning. Unfortunately, Cupboard Monkey incredibly ill. She has been asleep most of the day, but I had to go out to get cold and flu tablets from the supermarket for her because she was really, really struggling. But otherwise I would have joined you. But I did drop in on that stream. Really good to see. But again, thank you very much, Robert Steers, for that amazing, generous donation on the Super Chat. Now, Matthew Dunnap says, I've pre-ordered the Hornby 00A4 and Lady of the Lamp set and many other models. Now, the Lady of the Lamp set, quite interesting. It did get a mention briefly online, but it's quite interesting. It doesn't appear to be licensed either. There's no mention of it being inspired by, I don't believe, but that film is still in copyright, and I believe it's actually another Studio Canal franchise. So I am wondering what's going to happen with that, but it does look to be quite an interesting, nice set. Tony Smith says, I've long been saying it's high time model makers bring back manufacturing to the UK. The problem with that is that locomotives in particular are very labour intensive to assemble, and you're just not going to be able to make them to the same quality that we used to for a price you're prepared to pay. Do you really want to pay £800-900 for a locomotive? Because unfortunately, that's the kind of price point that making locomotives in the UK may well end up being. However, it is safe to say that some manufacturers have been bringing production of some sort or another back to the UK. We've seen some of the Airfix models did come back to the UK, the quick build kit. Some of that, though, I do believe have also moved to India as well. There are other places where they can get the cheap labour. We're still going to get the problems with the transportation costs. Humbrol, I believe, came back to the UK. That was at the time more about quality control issues and being able to handle that much more closely. But we've also seen Pico. Let's not forget, Pico are a big advocate of making things in the UK, and pretty much most of their ranges are made in the UK. And Dapol, let's not forget Dapol, a lot of their wagons are, if not made in the UK, are finished in the UK, but certainly they were very keen to point out in the Conflat announcement in O-Gauge that the containers are fully manufactured and finished, including all the printing, and they do look really good. I have filmed a review of the new Conflat, which will be coming out next week. You know, there's no suffering in quality on that. It's really, really good, and it is made in the UK. And it may be one of the reasons why Dapol has been able, to some extent, to keep the price rises down on what some of the other manufacturers have announced. Let's have a look. Hornby often produces limited run numbers, says Melchester Model Railway, so they get away with high prices. If they made more, they would be cheaper. To some extent, the problem you've got is if one of your big costs is the people to assemble items. Now, they can't assemble. If it takes them an hour to assemble, say 10, then they can assemble 20 in 2 hours, and so forth. So there isn't really an economy of scale for making more. It just costs the same unit price for the actual assembly of the items. It's just, that's how it is. But there we go. Josh's Railway Adventure says, speaking of Dapol, I should have my TransPennine Express 68 in the next month. Now, interestingly enough, another, I call it the Holy Trinity of A4s. And one of the other squee moments for me was that Hornby announced, finally, one of the Holy Trinity of the A4s that I really want. And this was Golden Fleece 60030 in BR Lake Crest Green. And this is exactly the livery that she wore as a Hornby 00 model. This is one of the models of my childhood. And that was the 2-rail model, if anybody's interested. The 2-rail guys for the A4 in the Hornby 00 range was Golden Fleece, and we finally got that announced. I was quite surprised to see that that wasn't in the Hornby 00 range. I would have thought that that would have been a standout model as Hornby 00, and I think Hornby have missed a trick on the nostalgia market. Although what they did manage to do was actually I've forgotten what I was going to say now. I should have some cheese to remember. What they did actually manage to do is bring out a number of other retro items. That's what I was talking about. The Triang sets. Now, these, again, inspired by some of the original 70s stuff, using modern-day equivalents in the range. And with the original box artwork, gosh, some of the decor as well was a bit funky. And also, let's have a look. Somebody just said...
Who's funky? What?
Oh, Peter Jackson says, and don't forget your M7. Yeah, I mean, this was, I must admit as well, I shared a photo of this with Simon Coleman when talking of coincidences after the Isle of Wight Central thing. This particular locomotive is a genuine Hornby, brand new model M7 that has been professionally relettered and renumbered to be one of the 4 malachite green examples as 30244. And this is the exact one that they've just announced for, I think it's around the £180, £190 mark. I paid £45 from Arcadia Models in Shore.
I bet you caused panics with that.
No, I think
you did.
Everybody knew that it was a re-livery, but I couldn't believe that I ended up doing a video on what effectively was one of the announcements a week beforehand. I'm starting to... My short-term memory is just like fading out. I think I've not eaten enough, or maybe I've eaten too much cheese.
No, what it is that we're both still recovering.
Yeah,
we have 20 so things here. So we've got a fair few things. Right, Steve has sent one saying Monday Club new video to replace other one. I don't see... Oh, there he is. Okay, if I just remove that one or mark it as red... That's fine, and then we can sort that out. Sorry guys, just doing a little bit of admin before we start the videos. We have a lot tonight. So I thought we'd start a bit early, if you don't mind, Jen.
Yeah, that's fine. They've asked me not to name them, but somebody has just sent me £100.
Oh my goodness.
Me.
Guys. Oh my goodness, guys. You're far too generous. You know you're an encourager.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's amazing generosity, guys. You really don't have to. I keep saying this to people when they send stuff in. It's very generous of you, but you don't have to. Jen will do this regardless. But thank you so much.
Thank you. That is incredibly generous. John JMC asks, you going to sell your M7? Why, do you want to buy it? I must admit, I bought it on a whim. It's fully DCC fitted now. I showed in the video exactly how to DCC fit it using the Trainomatic 8-pin decoder. It doesn't pull a huge amount at the 5% grade, but that is quite a challenge here on Weir Yard. But it does seem to manage quite well. Oh, there it is. But yeah, so John, are you desperate for this particular livery? I bought it because it was second hand and it was a really good price. It wasn't that I thought that is a must-have livery for me. And in all honesty, if that was the price that was announced in the catalogue, I wouldn't have given it a second fill. It's not, if I'd have seen that in the announcements, didn't have this, I would have just walked on by. It's not something that necessarily interests me, but I bought it because it was an incredibly good price for a full fat DCC ready Hornby M7. I didn't even realise it had been renumbered until it was pointed out to me, because somebody's actually done a really, really good job on that. Right. Right. Andy T741 says, I asked my dad for some DCC chips for Christmas. As I'm converting from DC, I do recommend the ID101 by ANE, as it is DC and DCC in a very good entry-level price of £120, so 200 odd with 5 chips, 8 or 21 pence. Yeah, you can get some great package deals, it has to be said.
I asked my dad for some chips for Christmas, and he asked if I wanted fish to go with them.
Yeah, but he knows you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, Jen, it was a joke.
I know. But gosh, I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, that was so generous. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Of course, let's not forget as well, we've also we should hopefully be seeing the Acura Scale 55s. And
which ones are there? I feel like
the Deltics.
The Deltics, that's the one, yes.
So really looking forward to those. We've also had word from Hattons that the Project Genesis has been pushed back a little bit. I think we mentioned that last time. So
the
I don't know whether
pandemic's pushed so much back.
it has, yeah, and a lot of these is all manufacturers are affected. This is outside of manufacturers' control. Same reason that we've not seen quite a chunk of the 2021 announcements from Hornby is that things are getting pushed back. We've got.
I have to say though, we've
got a 2-day week in
Project,
parts of China.
Yeah, with Project Genesis, having seen them,
Yeah,
it's going to be worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Right, shall we move to... You can still talk to people, of course, but shall we have a look at what's been sent in?
Absolutely. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So this is the bit of the show where we are doing a look through of some of the videos and pictures that you guys have sent of your layouts. And this is a great way to see what other people are up to and also gain inspiration from how other people do this.
So this is Don Gets Model Railway, and they say, this is the third and last part of my series explaining how I'm wiring my layout for full block detection and ABC braking in DCC. This covers bi-directional track and setting up DCC polarity reversing without causing and detecting momentary short circuits.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Can I just say, Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase has incredibly generously donated £5 on the Super Chat.
So much.
And says this Super Chat donation was inspired by other donations. Oh, I see what you did there. That's good. I says, seriously hope you both get better and an epic show. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Big hello as well to 156 Andrew. S. McC says, haha, inspiring. Paul Murphy asks you, Zoe, did you have salt and vinegar on your chips?
Always. I love this layout. The way it's set up. This, to me, is the future of model. I know a lot of people love the hands-on stuff, but from my point of view, I love the fact that it's all integrated with computer control, so you can set it off, and if you just want to, you can just relax. But you can also still get involved and put your hands on and get stuff done as well. So it's like the best of both worlds.
I also approve of the regional railways and intercity liveried coaches, and I think that's the Mark I Pullmans as well there.
I couldn't tell you, but that was really good.
So thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I really enjoy seeing you guys' stuff. And there's a lot.
Give me a minute. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. There's a lot of inspiration you can draw from these. And also we're going to be putting the links as well in the chat as well. Within Model Railway asks, is that a school's class? No, it's the Brighton Atlantic H2, I think. Egg Rider says, of course, there was another release announced last week. Of course, General Steam Navigation have released a pair of Daypole wagons to help fund the locomotive. And, of course, made and finished in the UK as well. So, is this a photo?
A series of photos.
Oh, is this Mark Wilson?
You can tell immediately, can't you?
Yeah,
This is Mark Wilson. He says, a new layout progress.
Wow.
Birmingham New Street.
And it's just, I am always blown away by the standard of the modelling. It is incredible.
Yes.
To the point where you'd look,
wow.
It's just amazing. It really is. You look at that and it's like,
It's like he's just gone and shrunk part of the real world and stuck it in his house.
Absolutely. That is just...
I'm going to move on to... Whoa!
I love...
Look at the weathering on the ground and everything. The different parts of it where it's like...
Yeah.
It looks like it's real.
I do like the bus stop signs as well. The detail that goes into this is incredible. And there's no gluey fingerprints or anything. That if I tried making that, it would have little fingerprints and bits that weren't quite right.
The drains would all be blocked and no one would have swept off.
Yeah. But that is lovely. And
wow. He's even put the corns out while he's working.
Yeah, can I just say, do you see anybody working there?
It's totally realistic.
That is so realistic. I mean, it's like, it could be real. All those cones and not a single worker. So brilliant. This is really great. Thank you for sharing these with us.
This looks superb.
Yeah.
Oh, it really
does. I do love this. Yeah, and look at that. Why have they coned off that bit of road? They don't need to cone that bit of road off.
But it's real. It's what people do.
But they've coned it off because they can.
Wow.
Oh,
Look,
my word.
I love the levels of depth, and it just looks so good.
And it's just like, I mean, this is actually a really good idea for a small little layout if you've not got a lot of space. And it's what I always say about the takeaway from this. You could have a layout that is effectively that, so it's just that fleeting glimpse of trains as they pass through underneath. You don't need a huge layout to have the feeling of a large layout, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's really, really great way of building a small layout that has a big layout feel.
Yes.
So just yeah, Stevie Phil says the workers are the best.
I love the Wobbler Productions thing. I really wish he'd stop taking photos of real locations and sending them models.
Yeah, it's like it's got an incredible filter on his camera. It just makes it like you're not quite sure whether it's real or a model.
Look how the bottom of the wall looks dirty.
Yeah,
as if stuff's congealing there, like it would
and
in
you
real
can
life.
see that how the weathering really does bring things together.
Yes.
Really, really nice.
Superb.
So,
that is my favourite angle.
And look at the rubbish on the track as well.
Yes.
It's little details like that that really do bring the realism.
Yes,
home.
it's exactly what helps to sell it.
And Laura, the pic reminds you a bit of Birmingham New Street because it's a model of Birmingham New Street.
Yeah. We've been here, haven't we?
Yeah, I come through there.
No, we were there when I went to conference.
Yeah, we were actually. Yeah, but no, I've been through more recently.
I loved that. What was it? I took you along to Birmingham for a conference. You weren't going into the conference, and you didn't go and see any of the sites either. You went straight to the model railway shop.
Oh, too right. That's when Ian Allen was still open there, and I spent every day I went into Ian Allen just to get my daily dose of vitamin
There was a museum, a theatre, and all sorts, and you went to the train shop.
Was it a train museum?
No.
Well, that's why I didn't go there.
It was an amazing art gallery. I loved it. You didn't go.
Didn't have trains.
Then we went to Pizza Hut.
Pizza?
Because we're classy.
Yeah. Hey, don't diss the hut, okay? Right. Thank you ever so much for sharing
that was
those.
amazing, Mark. Thank you.
I always love that. And Mark Wilson says, yes, I thought, how can I fit Birmingham New Street in a small space? And it's a really great idea for a minimum space layout that you can still run big trains on. And Ben Tuller, absolutely right. The weathering is exactly how the concrete walls of Birmingham New Street used to look like. Cheshire Lines. Oh, this is a great channel. This is they started sharing this with us when they only had like 2 or 3 subs.
Yes.
And this is what I mean about getting noticed. It's one of the things I think is really important is to give something back to the community. I understand how hard it is to get noticed on YouTube.
It really is.
So, you know, I like to give people the chance.
It was what,
to
9 years before you got going anywhere?
I don't know. I lost count. But right, are we ready to go?
So what we've got here is a message from Cheshire Lines.
Okay.
Saying, "Hi, Jenny and Zoe. Here's a short video of my Christmas present.
Ooh.
A Hornby Hush Hush.
Oh, hush hush.
Oh, it's very hush hush.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that turnstile.
You mean turntable?
You know what I meant.
That's the Pico one. I've got one of those. But you've made yours look really nice and rusty. I'm looking at the dirt on that. I'm jealous. Mine looks too clean. I might spend tonight going over mine with weathering powders because that looks really good.
You're gonna rub them in. I've got some Q-tips you could use.
That's all right. I've got brushes.
Okay. I have to say, the Hornby Hush Hush looks amazing. That is such an interesting design.
Yeah. I love your turntable. The weathering on that is really good. You've got yours to run really smoothly. I really struggled with mine.
You could have run yours smoothly if you'd tried hard.
I did struggle a bit, but it's a lovely layout, and I love this feel of the... Oh, are you alright? What's wrong?
I just looked down and smacked my glass into my face by catching them on the corner of the table.
Oh my word, are your eyes and your glasses okay?
My eyes are... Hey, my glasses need to clean.
Yeah. That'd be why you went and accidentally banged into the...
Just a bit, yeah.
I like the lighting as well. If you look there's a lot of lighting going on. It works really well. This is actually quite an interesting layout. There's a lot going on. This is nice. Oh, I certainly need to get myself one of those diesel refueling points. But really nice.
The amount of diesel trains on your layout, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to run
really
out.
Nice slow speed running. Actually,
It looks what's it, 1930s design?
Yes, it would be. Oh, I do approve of bridges like that. Oh my word! And that at speed, that is nice.
Whoa,
really
that
nice.
is a good sense of speed.
Oh, I love this scenery.
Oh, that is.
Oh
my
look
goodness!
Look how good these trains look within a landscape like this.
Yeah.
Oh, those coaches are nice. Those are the Hornby full fat Gresleys.
What
really nice.
What
coaches.
an effect he's got there on the video. That is superb.
I do love this layout. And of course we've been watching the bridge. It's the Tamar tubular bridge.
The bridge.
I do actually. But we've been watching this layout develop, very generously being shared with us, and just thoroughly enjoy it.
That is the way it's going in and out of the frame,
Yeah.
up and down on it.
This is a really great layout for watching long trains
that
run
is
by.
superb.
I do like that bridge.
That is
That bridge
superb.
actually reminds me of the one that goes across Carlisle Kingmore Yard, which was formerly the Waverley route, I believe.
Oh my goodness, that is
I do
amazing.
like that bridge. Oh, I like the way it's got its own name on the other side.
Yeah, why not?
That is really good. This layout is great for bridge inspiration. Really, really, really great. Weaver Junction. Oh, look at this. Look at the trains within the landscape. I really love this. You've got a really good steady hand as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the bridges. I
the
love
levels.
bridges.
Oh.
And this is what I mean about the dropped baseboards to get a really impressive effect with the with the landscape, looking like the trains go through the landscape, not the landscape being something that kind of fits in around the trains.
Yes.
This is really, really nice. This is a great sized railway room. I like the way as well the walls are all painted blue so that they just kind of blend into the back seat.
Yeah, it's like sky.
But those bridges.
That was superb. Thank you so much for sharing that.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you
saying,
so,
wow.
so much. And this is what I mean, is you can find some really great content here on YouTube. Paul Murphy suggests the Monday Club should be renamed the Fun Day Monday Club. Incidentally, we're going to be looking to do some more Monday Club wagon commissions. I was really, really humbled by the amount of support that we got for our very first commission, which was the Accurascale MDV hopper. So we're going to look to commission some more. Already in preliminary talks with some manufacturers. I'm going to look into what we can do for other scales as well, but the primary focus will still remain on 00.
I think you will enjoy.
This is live stream. Who's this from?
This is from John JMC.
Aha, I thought I recognised the logo. So
And ready when you are.
yeah, go.
So what we have here is hi Jenny and Zoe, hope you're both well, happy new year. Some 5-inch gauge fun on New Year's Day.
Ooh, 5-inch gauge.
Apparently
action.
this is a crab.
Ah, right. It does look really, from this angle, it's really, really nice. And it just shows the kind of grace of these things chugging along. Oh!
Oh yes.
So I'm guessing this is 5-inch gauge.
Yes.
Although interestingly, it's got not just it's got quad gauge tracks by the look of it.
That
so
is interesting.
I'm guessing that the tracks allow for 3.5-inch, 5-inch, and 7.25.
That's cool.
Would be my guess.
Well, I suppose if you're going to put down a lot of track, you want as many people as possible to be able to run something on it.
Yeah, you'd have thought.
Oh my goodness. What a shot.
Bagnall Dave has to head off, so look, it's been great having you come.
Thanks for coming
sorry,
along.
folks. Must go to cook my wife's meal. Look,
I'm glad you
take
put
care.
meal on the end there.
Yeah. But Peter Jackson says, "Yay, an Engage Monday Club wagon." Hopefully, we're going to look into it. The
That
problem I've
looks
got
amazing.
is that it all depends on minimum order numbers and how many people actually want to buy them. There's no point in me having to do a minimum order of like 300 if only 10 people buy them, because I have to buy the rest effectively, and I don't want to be in a position to do that. John JMC says that loco belongs to a good friend. And
Excellent.
is this Gillingham? Because this is a really nice model railway that you're running on here. It does look a fun place.
It looks amazing.
Tim Maslin has a really good point here. So every single time I see one of those hush hushes, they talk about the build quality being poor and them not working. Yet this one zooms around. And yeah, I think actually the problem you get is that when you get a loco that runs perfectly, you just like, hooray, run it on your layer. You don't tend to go and evangelize about it.
Yeah, but you don't go and announce, hey, this worked. Because it's meant to work.
So what you've got to bear in mind is that you will get an amplification of the people who've had a bad experience, and the sort of silent majority very much are silent. So sometimes you have to bear this in mind when looking at reviews. And again, it's another reason why I always make sure in my reviews that it's very honest, and if something is clearly a quality control fail, I do get back in touch with the manufacturer.
Yes.
And I think that is only fair to give a balanced representation of the models in a whole.
Yes. I'm just impressed by this. I mean, look at that. That is just amazing.
Interesting. Flymo Chairman 1 says, was it Wheezy Palace Junction that had 32 coaches behind 2 W1s? My gosh, that's extravagance too. Although a few people still waiting for their hush hush, such as Worthington Model Railway. Is that Gilling? Gilling, not
there
Gilling. I'm Gilling. So I was almost right. Whetstone Bridge is off to read the bedtime story, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
Oh, very nice. Good choice.
Good choice. Mark Wilson suggests a Monday Club break van.
Jenny would keep them all. You'd never get one.
I think part of the problem is that a brake van would be possibly more expensive, but I could certainly look into. I don't know who I would approach.
Billy's replacement brakes.
Yes. Are your brakes failing? Would you like to invest in Billy's replacement brakes? Yes.
Billy, did you break the brakes?
No.
Would you like to invest in some replacement brakes?
Yes. Yes. Would you like your brakes to be inspired by some that work? That is going to be the
I'm going to make a T-shirt that just says inspired.
That is a good shot, and actually John JMC says my phone was sat by my foot for that shot.
It works. Whatever. This is the thing about filmmaking. Whatever shot works. Doesn't matter how you did it.
Yeah, and having worked in television, I can tell you that it ain't pretty how some shots are got, but the end result is very impressive.
It's like Citizen Kane. Some of those shots required them to dig a hole in the floor and put the camera in it so they could get it.
Well, in Great Model Railway Challenge, they actually built their own camera rig to get a GoPro into the model on a rig that they could kind of just sort of, it was like a crane device that would move the camera in. And, to get the really great close-up shots.
Yeah, they took the style that we were doing and just went, how can we make this not look like it's done by amateurs? It's true, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Inspired.
Yes, inspired by amateurs, but not actually done by amateurs.
Right, we're going to have to move on, because this is a long one. But yeah, go and have a look at the full thing, guys. It's great.
Also point out, Tony Northeastern, again, who does some great model work. Double-headed a lot of coaches with 2 W1s. They might be talking about the same person.
Wow, that's bright today, isn't it?
What angle's that? Have you reorientated the camera?
Well, I must have knocked it when I got up.
That's actually quite a good angle. Leave it for
Alright, we'll leave it for now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Warbler Production says, Zoe, you are better than professionals.
To an extent.
Yeah. Which particular professionals?
Well, remember that old TV show, The Professionals?
I was just thinking, it's like, we're professional room clearers. We come round and fart in your room. That'll clear it.
Okay, Charlie has sent us a link that says a short video of a cheap and effective method of track cleaning.
Ooh.
This will be interesting.
Always. So, if you want to bring this up... Oh, this looks like the old Triang track cleaning wagon. So,
What's that on the bottom of it?
There's a felt pad.
Has he just stuck a felt pad on the bottom of it?
No, that's how they came.
Wow.
These you can get quite readily with some isopropyl alcohol. Always great. Really, really useful. Interesting point. Dongit's Molero says professional just means someone pays you to do it. It doesn't necessarily mean you're skilled.
That's true.
Really?
Well, that's great. That means I'm a professional because you paid me just to do your videos. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Lots of people have spotted the TARDIS, actually.
Well,
with the
yes,
camera
I've
in
knocked
that
the camera,
position.
so it's basically pointing straight at it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that layout. That is lovely.
Yes.
What is that in the background? Looks like part of inside the castle.
It's built a building under construction.
That is cool.
Oh, I like the retaining walls.
I like really that slightly crooked roof on that building at the back. Making it look like it's been there a while and maybe the roof's starting to warp. That was cool. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Did really enjoy that. Yeah, and it's certainly these old Triang track cleaning wagons can be got quite cheaply and do also do the job. Alex Dent says only clowns can make a horn noise when blowing their nose.
I think my clown horn is broken. Give me a second. Nope, it's gone. It really has gone.
Yeah. So, right. So, really glad. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Matthew says, but you can ride 5-inch gauge and people charge for it. Yeah, there's a lot of clubs that do make a bit of an income doing that. Stephen Cameron says, in real life, A4 Silverlink headed a troop train with 28 coaches during the war. Yeah, prototype locomotives could actually haul some pretty long trains. What you've got to remember is that the gradients and curves on the prototype railways are usually a lot less than what you have on your model railways.
Okay, what we've got up next is quite interesting. This is Evan's N-gauge layout on a channel called A Train Too Far.
Okay, let's go.
Nice to see some more different gauges.
Yeah, and
oh, look at that.
you can get a lot in N-gauge.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Now, based on what we were saying watching last night when we were watching Toy Story 4,
Uh-huh.
what gauge would you need for a Polly Pocket to be able to ride scale size?
Probably less than probably about T gauge.
That would be cool. Imagine that, a working Polly Pocket railway.
For our younger viewers, would you care to actually elaborate what the heck?
Okay, Polly Pockets and Mighty Max. Oh my goodness, he's gone Quantel.
Ooh.
Polly Pocket and Mighty Max were toys from the 80s. Polly Pocket's still around, mind. It's just a different style now. That's when you open up what appears to be like a compact or a makeup kit and things like that. There's an entire play set with people inside.
Yeah, I remember
Tiny
when I was
things.
at
I loved them.
junior school. I think it was infant or junior school.
Polly Pocket was cool, but Mighty Max had monsters. So I liked Mighty Max. This is cool. But imagine that, like, oh, where's your model railway for this exhibition? Oh, I've got it in my pocket. Here. And then you open up like a pocket watch, and there's a train in it.
Oh, well, I like the idea of the train on the rim of a hat, and then you could actually
Love that.
You could just walk around the exhibition with your this train zipping.
We need to do it. We need to do it.
What, model railway on a hat?
On a hat.
On a hat.
And I know people say, "Oh, you're just being silly. It's not real." But I think people would find it fun. And sometimes what I want to do is make people smile.
Can I just say as well, this being N-gauge, that is actually quite kaleidoscope effect. This is actually quite a nice size. When you look,
Yeah, it's got a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in what's actually quite a small area. Johan Swanepoel says, Zoe, am I correct in saying that I heard you doing some time announcements during the Great Model Railway build? No, you didn't actually. There was somebody else did the James, you have 2 minutes.
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't do anything with the Great Model Railway.
No.
The only thing I did for Great Model Railway was give Jen a bit of a nudge to keep going when she was feeling like it was stressful.
Oh yeah, but look,
oh, and I also said
thank you very much for sharing that video with us, by the way.
The Halloween build kind of got inspired by me saying, if you haven't got any ideas, how about doing Frankenstein? And then she went, that would be interesting, but can we make it more generic?
Yeah.
And just went for horror.
Well, it was Halloween.
Yes, that's what you went for eventually, but yeah.
John JMC, Giggle McDimples. Yeah, that was the character, wasn't it, in Toy Story 4?
Yes.
Don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream as well, and don't forget, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and check out our merch. We've got the all-new Billy's Replacement speakers, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and mugs, and these mugs are a great way of having your replacement tea.
Okay, Don't Get Model Railway has sent the same one in several times to make sure we got it. That's okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's fine.
So you've not necessarily got as many as you thought.
No. I'll keep looking in the spam system.
Is that a new one, the Henry Van Wight?
Well, yeah, everything that's left is... Oh,
interesting. Mark Wilson says, my daughter had a Polly Pocket ice rink. Used magnets underneath to move them. It's a good trick, actually. And it's
to be honest with you, it's what I'm thinking of. If we have, like, T gauge or something, it probably won't have space to put a battery if you're trying to make something like a pocket watch size thing. But a magnet to move a completely stable and non-functioning railway. I would love to try that.
Right, Andy Brooks asks, I'm hoping they'll be doing another series of Great Model Railway Challenge. I love that. Funnily enough, I do have news in this area. Now, I spoke to the series producer.
And he told her to stop calling him. Because it was the middle of the night.
I actually spoke to him last week, just seeing how he was doing, and just to ask whether there was anything going on.
And you know what he said? Who are you and how did you get my number?
No. What he actually said was that there doesn't look to be Series 3. Interest appears to have waned. That doesn't mean it will never happen, but it's no longer on the card. So unfortunately, GMRC 3... does not look likely at this time.
In that case, I suggest that we run something inspired by it as a YouTube challenge. Let me just run this as an idea. Okay, you have 1 month. We'll pick a month to create the greatest layout you can in a box file that you buy for a couple of quid from somewhere like The Range.
They already have these competitions.
Yeah.
They're called micro layout competitions.
Well, there you are. There we can... Stuff like that. We can do this ourselves. We don't need TV, guys. Okay, next up we have Henry Van Wyck. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm terrible with accents. And he says, hello, Jenny and Zoe. All the best for the new year. May 2022... On the 4th of January 2022, my current layout was 5 years old, or shall I say, it's still in the making. Most of the videos I have sent in concentrated on the top level of my layout. However, in the 5-year update video, I ran a train from the lower level to the upper level. Oh my goodness. So he's made a short video for us to show it off.
Excellent.
So here we go.
Ooh.
Mantony says the T gauge I've seen runs on 204 AA batteries. That would be so cool.
Exactly. So you have the batteries in the hat, and it's magnetized to stay on the track as well.
Yes.
So it would.
I'm actually considering that. Whoa! Is that a working lighthouse?
I think it is actually.
That is cool. So this is a part of the layout we don't get to see a lot.
Yeah. I just like all of the South African models. It's really nice to see stuff that you wouldn't necessarily normally see if you're based outside of South Africa.
Yeah. I'm liking this. Oh, Andy Brooks says Cake Box Challenge in BRM magazine. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I think Worley Model Rail Club do something as well. Heartfiller Railway says, apologies for being late. Just got back from a meal out to celebrate getting an interview for a train driver's job.
Congratulations!
Well done. But of course, on the subject of being late, I think...
Oh, yes, I believe... he's here.
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Has he got a key for the door?
He's a master wizard, of course.
Yeah, but for copyright reasons, he's inspired by Lord of the Rings.
Yes, he's a master wizard.
Yes. John JMC says, Zoe, I've sent you a link to Teeny
I'll have a look. I really like the idea of making a pocket watch railway layout.
Pocket watch might be a bit on the small side. Oh, I like the brake there. Oh, that's nice. It's got like a hole all the way through. Oh, I do like that back scene. That works really well with the big industrial building. but it's not actually taking up any space from the model, which does mean that you get the best of both worlds. The suggestion that the real world heads on into the distance, but not impeding the space available for your trains.
Yeah.
Now, I also like, it's just out of shot on the right, but we did briefly see a tree, and I did like the modelling of the roots on the tree, as well as the tree itself.
Root modelling can be difficult. Oh, look at that!
It's just really nice to watch the trains snake their way through. Through this railway.
John James says, much deeper voice this week. Must have a cold. Yes, I believe the Master Wizard may have a cold.
I think caught it from you.
Yes.
Yeah. Aha! So you admit that you're spreading your illness around.
I'm very generous.
Yeah, licking door handles.
Oh, that would be interesting. John JMC says, what about a PGA size layout?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
J. Paul Anderson says there's a foul voice on the hair. It's Saruman. Has he not cleaned his teeth then?
Courtney Bonnick says maybe Hornby can host something on their YouTube channel. Yeah, a Hornby challenge.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would mix in with what we were saying earlier on. Standard base, a hamper of standard Hornby products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like if you had an entry fee or something that covered.
Well, no, the entry fee is you buy the stuff, and then there's a competition, and the prize.
Maybe they can do something with that.
Yeah, the prize is like you win something.
Yeah, can you win the Hornby challenge? That kind of. I think that would be great. We don't need TV to give us the nod for this stuff. We can do it.
Well, see, I was thinking certainly. I know that Ken Patterson of What's Neat This Week fame, big up to the What's Neat This Week posse. There's a big announcement coming up. Do look out for the latest edition of the What's Neat This Week podcast.
Gwen Reese Davis says, a pocket watch size model railway. I may be able to help you there. I'd love to see what you can put together, Gwen. That would be so cool.
Actually, yeah, we'd love to talk some more about that. Actually. John JMC says you so need to check out that TD trains. Your mind will be blown.
Most likely,
I will take a look at it.
I am a huge fan of anything that could be miniaturized to like the smallest possible way.
Tim Marsden says, so sad to hear there is unlikely to be any more series of the Great Model Railway Challenge.
For the moment.
I really enjoyed the series. Looks like it's another victim of the COVID era. It started out being a bit of a victim. Unfortunately, I think TV world kind of moved on to the next big thing.
That's always the issue.
Yeah, that can be a problem. If you have a year off, you become yesterday's news.
Oh, everyone's mentioning What's Neat This Week. Have you mentioned what happened on What's Neat This Week?
Well, no, because
you're going to be on it, aren't you?
I am on the next What's Neat This Week,
yes,
and there is
you filmed it the other day.
I filmed it on Saturday, actually. Well, technically on very, 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 very early Sunday morning at 2 a.m. But yes, I am on the new What's Neat This Week. Do look out for that. We're making a special announcement. But I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Somerset Andy says, Zoe, did Sir Peter Cushing play Doctor Who in 2 movies?
He did.
He did, yes. He did. Only it was a bit weird. He wasn't an alien. He was a human called Doctor Who. And his TARDIS was completely different on the inside. It was actually quite an interesting style. The console room was completely different.
Why did they change so much?
Because they were still filming the show when the film was going on, and they couldn't reuse the sets because the TV actors were on them.
No, but the thing was, though, so why didn't they use the TV actors for the films?
Don't know.
And also, why did they change some of the canonical things?
Probably to just give it a bit different.
So thank you very, very
much
for
wonderful.
Sharing that with us. Really, really thoroughly enjoyed that. Big hello to Somerset Andy. Great to see you. But yes, talking about Great Model Railway Challenge. Whilst the UK version, it's unlikely now. We have seen, I think it was a Belgian version. Oh, I do like these.
Okay, this one's from Charles Gibbs. And, right, if I can just bring up the thing. Question, can you identify this wagon?
That is a London and South Western Railway road brake van, which is one of the Kernow Model Centre commissions, if it's a ready-to-run wagon, or it may be kit-built, but it's a London and South Western Railway road van. Is it?
Could you try again? Are you sure it's a road van?
Well, it's a brake van, but...
This is a London and South Western Railways goods brake van by Kerno Models.
Well, I called it, didn't I?
You said road.
A road brake fan. Well, that's what. Look, shut up! I guessed it correctly. Now
I'll take your word for it. I don't know, haha. But it is an amazing photo. I love the style.
Yeah.
It's very sepia toned.
Definitely, really, really nice. Right, but anyway, meanwhile, back on the ranch.
Funded by the Warner Brothers, not BBC.
What is?
The films for Doctor Who, so they had to change things to not hit the copyright. So it was inspired by.
McNavy put me right there. Sorry, it's not a Belgian but a Dutch version of the GMRC. Right, absolutely. Would love to actually see that at some point. Stephen Cameron says, I think Kathy's too busy these days. Well, other judges are available. About a dozen of us audition to be judges.
And
for
also,
Great
let's
Model Railway
face it,
Challenge.
if someone wanted to step out, just open up another thing.
Leslie Gilpin says, it's a road van. I guessed correctly.
There you go. But what I'm saying is that just because a previous judge doesn't want to do it anymore, doesn't mean the show has to stop.
Yeah, I mean,
how many shows? BattleBots, Robot Wars, The Great British Bake Off. How many times have they swapped judges?
Can I just say that if a US version gets made, I do happen to know who's in the running for being judges. Shut up. And
please tell me one of them is Judy.
Oh, that would be good. Judge
Put your listening ears on.
Sir, you haven't got your listening ears on.
Glue them back on.
Yeah. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,000. It's like, no, you're supposed to be judging a model railroad competition.
Objection! Take it away. It's like, Judy, do you know where you are?
Throw that man out of my courtroom.
It's like, Judy, do you know where you are?
I still want to see the epic rap battle of Judge Judy versus Judge Dredd.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, and it's not a foregone conclusion. Who would win?
I think it is. One of them's got a gun.
Judge Judy lives in America. She's probably got.
She probably has one.
Yeah.
So does Judge Dredd.
Right. So,
okay. What we've got here is Worthington Model Railway saying new landscape for the Monday Club.
Ooh.
Here we go.
So, I like that. The chalk
cliff.
That
looks so good.
The grass is really well done. I like the way you've blended it into the chalk cliffs.
Okay, just the one thing that's just come up. That is a good idea. Removable board seat.
I like the tunnels and stuff. That works quite well.
But guys, has anyone ever successfully modelled a Mirage?
That was in the Great Model Railway Challenge.
I don't remember it.
It was the Lawrence of Arabia one.
Right, so someone actually did model a Mirage. That is so cool.
Yeah, they used a particular backlighting effect and a gauze to be able to do it.
That is fantastic. I am happy now. See, I like that. So, we've got a message here from Steve Worthington saying, here's an updated video showing way more progress on my new landscaping and my new Bachmann Earl of Marionette 009 double fairly.
Yes. So they're going to be adding in narrow gauge. Ooh,
yeah,
always
and
good.
running on the new section of the layout. No sound, but captions. I deleted the video sent last Monday that you didn't get around to showing. Yeah, sorry, sometimes that happens. I'm trying to catch up, which is why we started a bit early this week.
Absolutely, and one of the things that we are quite ill at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
it's got green at the back.
Is it? Look at that! Look! Cricket. Oh, TARDIS. We saw it first.
What I'm wondering though, that green at the back.
Yeah.
Is that for green screening?
No. It's a suggestion that the cricket pitch goes on further, I guess. But no, this is really nice. I do like. Is that the Pico cricket set? It's really nice. But anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, a US GMRC, really would love to see that. I know that Ken Patterson was really, really keen on that, and I suspect that they'd probably have to go down the route the BattleBots did, well, certainly Robot Wars, in that they'd have to do a not-on-screen version, probably with the backing of some of the big manufacturers, and then get TV execs interested off the back of that.
Absolutely.
Would be my guess.
Yes. For those who don't know, Robot Wars, when it ended in the UK, some of the people that were working on it went on and created their own touring competition. and used that to demonstrate the interest to get BattleBots onto TV.
And it worked, really did.
Oh my goodness, that show is amazing.
And those coaches, incidentally, the bug boxes, completely made in the UK.
Sweet.
Oh, I love that. Simon Trey's Model Railway Showcase says the TARDIS on this layout, it is inspired from Jenny's layout. Ooh.
And the word of today is
inspired.
And the number is 009.
Yeah. Oswald Street Road TMD says, I would like to see an Anglo-Aussie Great Model Railway Challenge, calling it the Ashes. Ooh.
Oh, that would be funny, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you know about Warbler Productions. That cricket scene must be from the 5th Doctor story, Black Orchid.
I did love that.
Yes. Filmed at Quainton Road, I believe, some of the scenes.
Because the Doctor was wearing what appeared to be a cricket outfit, they just assumed he was there to play.
Yeah, there for the match. Peter Jackson says, great 009 layout.
That looks I do like the double-headed thing. That is so cool.
And actually, what's interesting there is great fact you've laid the track onto the grass rather than ballast. And actually, it works quite well for that look of a really run-down narrow gauge layout. So actually, that does work quite well. So, do we have many more? We're nearly out
we have
of time.
A couple.
We've got 5 more minutes. So,
but some of these are actually photos. So we've got some more from Mark Wilson here.
Ooh. Did the Polly Pocket one come through?
If it has, I haven't seen it yet because I've got to go and have a look and refresh everything.
Okay,
so what we've got here is Mark Wilson. I believe this is a model.
So this is the Class 58 piloting away from the wires. What looks to be, is that an 85 or an 86? Samuel Diné, the original Half-Ass Customs, big hello to you.
Hello.
Did your serial get through okay? Was it the Back to the Future stuff?
Yes, it did.
Oh, excellent.
He got it before Christmas. I made sure that it got there.
Ooh. Back to the Future serial for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a small bookend diorama of a Harry Potter scene. It says stay toned. But okay, staying toned.
I wish I could stay toned.
Yeah, I think it's stay tuned. But Worthington Model Railway says, I will ballast eventually. But I thought it was quite a good effect. It did work really well with the sort of slightly more overgrown look. Sue at Putnam Junction, big hello to you. And oh, yes.
That is so good.
I sounded like the Churchill dog there.
Oh, yes. Well, that's what happens when you've got a cold.
Apparently
you can
it's
make
a Class
the dog
87.
Noises. Right.
I like there's 2 levels on. Well, it's actually 3
levels. I love the way
that
the back scene has the suggestion of fogginess.
Yeah, and these high-rise buildings as well to dwarf the trains, and that's what you actually need.
Yeah, a sense
Stevie
of proper
Films
scale.
says 009 Fairley, Robert Fairley.
That is cool.
That is nice, and I like the drop-down section there for what I presume is actually part of the sort of the run round the fiddle yard area underneath. Works really well.
So this is the London one.
Mm.
This is his London build. I am guessing that by the fact that I saw an underground sign. So it's really cool.
Out of curiosity, are the trains on this connected in any way to where the trains go to that, the motor rail terminal one by the beach? I'd love to see how the layouts fit together if that.
Yeah,
is the
if we
case.
could ever see like just a quick tour.
A shot of the room, putting everything into context.
Look at that, the levels and the scale. It's just so well done.
57305 Northern Princesses. B&M do Jaws cereals, so you're going to need a bigger bowl. And we've seen that Jaws.
We tried the Jaws cereal. It's Cheerios in Jaws shapes.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice.
It was.
I did make you're going to need a bigger bowl joke as well when you came in with it.
What I said was it's the cereal that bites back.
Right.
Okay, now we've got an interesting one from Charlie. He says, here are a few photos of my Triang Princess, which I'm trying to convert to a turbo motive. So if we could bring this up, that'll be very interesting. Oh, I see how he's doing it.
So this looks like, is it Milliput and Plasticard?
Yeah.
And coming together quite nice. It's an interesting build, and of course we've just had this. Must really not, because clearly you've been working on this since before this morning. So you've been working on this, and then Hornby just announced one. But of course, I think at a price, it's a lot of money for the turbo motive.
He's got the shape just right from what I can see.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's coming together really, really nicely.
That is so well done.
So big hello to St Mary Church Model Railway.
That is so cool.
Peter Jackson says, Mark Wilson, is it inspired by New Street? That is going to be the. Is that going to be the new?
I'm making a T-shirt that just says inspired, and it might be in red and yellow colours.
In the same font as Hornby. I think that might be a little bit. Too
I'm not going
close
to
the
do it
bone.
like that, but I will make a fun T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
our last one is from, well, the last one before I check to see what other stuff's come through.
I think John JMC did send something. So
I'll check. Yeah, don't worry. It's Tim's Model Railway in different videos where we get some before and after shots. Okay, Jen, bring it up. This is the before, so we're going to try and spot the difference. Take a good look.
Oh, Somerset Andy says, Jenny and Zoe, the Monday Club is always great fun to watch. You make us smile.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So, Jen, have you had time to take a look? Spot the difference.
Oh, the roundhouse.
Yeah.
And go
and
back.
it just fits perfectly.
Go back. Yeah, it's the roundhouse.
Yeah, he's got his trains set up,
And
now
it-
he's got
and
them
actually
out.
it works.
fits just. It's perfectly fine.
I do, because we saw the roundhouse kit
Yeah,
last week. I think it
I
was.
think it was, yeah.
I'm really impressed by that.
I was
actually.
very impressed by that round. You know
Ruben
what?
Ashwell says those inspired jokes.
This, it's like we said last week. That roundhouse, give it a bit of weather and it will not look out of place on any layout.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great looking model.
I think it's a great product.
Yeah.
Warbler Productions asks, any guests coming to Weir Yard soon, other than me? Would be nice to know. Have invited a few people. It's just because
We'll get some people in once we're
the
recovered.
problem is it's a school night, which does make it quite difficult for people who obviously got to be
Which
at
is
work
why
in the
we
morning.
may have to plan doing some pre-recorded sessions.
Maybe, or actually get on the road and do Monday Club Live or something where we're
Yeah.
going to do. Obviously, COVID kind of put a little bit of a dampener on that. Is that the one?
I have. There's one come through from John, and here's another one, which was unfortunately put into the spam folder. I'll grab that. So I'm just going to quickly go through all of these and make sure that we haven't missed anything.
Belmont Junction, hi to you. Flymo Chairman 1 says, we have been spoilt this evening. Thanks, folks. You're absolutely welcome. And thank you, everybody who's shared with us pictures or video link to their own works. And, of course, if you want to share, then drop an email to zoe@zoerobinson.com. Put Monday Club in the title so we can easily find it. And we need the URL to your video, and it must be your video. Do not attach the video because it won't make it through. Or you can attach photos, but don't make them too big because otherwise it will bog down the program. But we'd love to see you sharing your builds with us because it's a great way that we can get inspiration.
Okay, so we've got 2 left, and we're going to go a little past 9 o'clock.
Yeah, let's do all.
Okay, let's just make it nice and have them all done.
Nice.
So I'm loading up a one from. This used to be.
Oh. This video is private.
Ow!
Jackie. So unfortunately, and also Belmont Junction. Yeah, we'll get some trains running at the end as well. So unfortunately, the
That's
video.
a shame. I'm going to put. I'm going to put the link into the chat, but it won't work. This was NYMR-ish. He's changed his name to Hunter's Holt.
Right.
And that's this video.
One thing
But it doesn't work.
I will say that unfortunately the video itself
It's marked as private.
It's marked as private, so you just need to change the settings. So we maybe be able to come back to that.
Yeah.
Right.
But the last thing is actually not a video. It's a link to teeny trains.
Ooh.
So bring this up on screen. Let's have a look at it.
Okay. So these are like super small connectable track. I'm not sure. Oh, I thought that was a loop. The loop. So what? Wow. How big? Oh, look. Look there.
If I go back one, does that?
Yeah, that shows a US cent. That's how small
Oh my
that is.
goodness. This is perfect. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is.
Wow. Oh, look at the train.
Oh
set.
my goodness.
Oh! You were right, weren't you? Yes, you were. It said it'd blow your mind.
A train set and it's a snow globe train set. Does it work?
$109. Read move a train. It'd be some kind of magnet. Oh.
That is so cool.
Oh yeah.
New stronger train drive.
9 volts instead of 6 volts. So yeah, it works.
That is superb. Guys.
Oh my word.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool.
Oh wow.
That is $109 at the moment. That's not
too bad,
for
actually.
what it is. That is some precision engineering. That is amazing.
John JMC says, "Thought you'd like this," and Gwyn Reese
Yeah.
Davies says, "These are T scale." They oh, this is just
It's the trick. Oh, it's in a dome.
It's great. It's great.
Turn the volume off.
People going, "Oh, Billy's replacement speakers,"
and it works.
Yeah.
Oh, right. This is what we're talking about. So that's not in the dome at the moment.
You can
They've
imagine
taken
that,
it off so they can film it.
Well, imagine that on a hat.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that would be so amazing. Thank you so much for showing that.
Oh wow. Hartfield Railway is Zoe at zoerobinson.com.
Yep.
In fact, Fly My Chairman 1 has just posted it in the chat, so there you are. William Reese Davies says these are using a linear motor to move the models that have small magnets in the base. Really quite effective though. Really,
that
quite
was
effective.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so good.
So we're now at the point where we are coming to an end. It's been really great to have your company, and thank you as well for everybody's immense.
There was a whistle before you turned it. Sorry about that. This whistle was sponsored by Billy's Replacement Speakers,
who also does the T-shirt.
Yes,
I should stop going.
Inspired. Stop it. We don't want to be demonetized. Inspired.
Inspired by demonetization. But look, anyway, it's been really great having your company. We will have just some trains running at the end. You may have to put up with a little bit of snot machine in the background.
I can't help it. I have held in so many coughs.
Who it is, isn't it? Yeah, no worries. But look, it's been great having your company. Thanks as well, everybody who joined us for the Hornby announcements at the start of the day. We've touched on it again as well. We also
Can I just say?
What?
I've just realised there was a whistle before you turned the volume off when we showed that running thing of that thing. So not only is it tiny and works, it's sound.
Yeah.
Amazing! Wow. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Gordon Aitken says, inspired by Buxom Rex. See you later. Look, you guys take great care of yourself. It's been great to have your company. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Tonight,
you can also check us out over on Patreon as well as check out our merch store as well. But until next time, you take great care of yourself. Bye for now.
Jenny.
Zoe, stop it.
The train now departing is the 2107 service to Grove Street Yard, stopping at Bolton Trinity Road, Eindhoven, Ministatis, and Grove Street Yard. That's the 2107 service to Grove Street Yard. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.
If you get near a note, be sure to hit it.
Oh, like I ever will do that.
Yeah.
If I had to wait until I got near a note, I would never sing.
Do you want to... Everybody's going dizzy.
Dizzy.
Yeah, my head is... Hey, no, I'm not supposed to be on the shop. Right, look, stop messing about. Right, are you done?
Yeah, that looks about right, doesn't it?
Do you think anybody noticed?
Nah.
No, it'll be alright.
Okay, I'm going to jump in with a quick bit of news.
What?
You know those LED lights you've been getting from Wilco's?
Yeah?
Wilco's are now starting to close down shops. So if you're thinking about getting the LEDs, I'd get in now.
Closing down shops? Yeah. Is this because basically sales have been hit hard by COVID?
Looks like.
So you heard it here first. If you liked the video we did on the LED lights, do get them bought in the UK quickly, because it does look like Wilkinson's are starting to shut down branches. Good night, everybody. Catch you all next time. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, check out the merch store, and if you really like the channel, do tell your friends. Take care. Bye for now. It's the awkward bit where I try and find the mouse pointer.